how can you m- make more money from your revenue, from your IP, without having to do what you're currently told you have to do to have a business. The stats from Spotify and DSPs, it's 100,000 tracks a day being uploaded, and only was it 1% and enough to even earn a living
Wow.
from that's on there. When you start to break that all down, we are brainwashed that we have to be there because that's where the numbers are.
Thank you for coming on Nexus Talks. I feel very privileged to be able to speak with you today. I don't know where we're going to start, so I'm going to let you start by introducing yourself. Tell me more about you and what you do.
Dean Wilson, CEO, co-founder of 720 Entertainment LLC, long-time manager of Dead Mouse from the inception of the Mouse, and also his business partner in Mousetrap, Housetrap, and the labels and the publishing side of the business. And That's kind of current. And then, you know, going all the way back to the start really was, blagging my way into being a warm-up DJ at the local nightclub to blagging my way into selling vinyl out the back of a car, then a van, and then producing music, and always been on the music side of the business. And then We started a record label, and our first record that we put out with my business partners at the time was a record with Daniel Bedingfield called "Gotta Get Through This," which was a 3-week number one in the UK. And I just see him at NFT NYC with Fred again doing it live, which was a blast from the past. 'Cause someone told me that it's the 20, maybe it's coming up for the 20-year anniversary next year, which is makes me feel old. Um,
Me
but
feel old as well.
but just the classic, it was at the time, and it still is now. Probably more relevant now than it's been at any point with what Fred again and Skrillex and Fortet have been doing of late, of that amalgamation of UK garage and dubstep and techno and tech house. So yeah, that's kind of where like my brief condensed version of my life in the music business, and then in and out of 360 with Mark Gillespie, Calvin Harris, Chris Lake, Feed Me, Pendulum, Knife Party, Duke Dumont, where it goes on and on.
I'm going to go back to you saying you blagged your way to become a warm-up DJ. What can you tell me what led you there and how you blagged it?
um, I was clubbing with my friends and decided that, man, that DJing at the time, was on vinyl, and that looked really hard to be able to do that. And I thought, oh, maybe I can just, blag my way into getting doing the lights, because that looked easy, just I see it in parts. Of which I befriended the resident DJ, and he was like, "Yeah, sure." I don't really have, anyone doing that, so I did that, and then my housemate at the time had a cellar that we turned into a mini nightclub, and I mean mini, about
How many? How
8
many
people
people?
max,
Okay.
8, 10 people, and a cat. The cat is very important. He
Okay.
was an integral part of the clubbing culture. Um, and He had a pair of decks down there, a pair of 1210s, and I was doing multiple different things to try and not do a proper job. And he would go to work, and he was an accountant. And I, during when he was at work during the day, I would go down there and teach myself how to mix two pieces of vinyl together, until I got to a point where I thought, think I can ask him if I can do like the first hour when there's nobody there, maybe the first hour and a half, and when normally there was a CD playing. And he was like, "Sure, you can do that. I mean, you're not going to pay you." And that led it on to, when he was away, I would step in, and then we became joint residents together. And then eventually one day he decided he had enough, and then I became my night, and we started booking DJs from London, and we had our own night at the Baby Box at Ministry of Sound, once a month, which we'd leave the club at 2 and then go down there till 10 in the morning, and it kind of just slowly grew from there into selling vinyl out of the back of a van, and then that kind of led into, management by default, by friends, helping friends out. And that's really what it was. And, we were instrumental, I suppose, in the explosion of the UK garage scene at that time. A company was called Essential Direct, and my good friend Sarah Lockhart, who's at Sony Publishing now at a very senior level. Arthur Smith, who is Artwork and Magnetic Man, he was our partner and producer. Andy Culver, who's still at Prime Direct now, so still selling vinyl. Danny Harrison, Julian Jonah with DYNK, and 187 Lockdown, and that was our crew. And my last stop on the van was Big Apple Records in Croydon, and Arthur's studio was above the shop. And Scream used to work Saturdays and Friday afternoons after school when he was 15, 16. DJ Hatcher, Benji B, and all of those crew would, would come and sort of hang out, and they were fun times.
I can tell you're smiling throughout that when you were explaining
Oh
it.
yeah,
You're smiling.
really great times. They really
Did,
were.
did you always know you wanted to go into music?
No, absolutely not. As a kid, I thought I was going to be a professional golfer, um, and realized pretty quickly that I wasn't good enough. And my best friend at the time was, he would go clubbing, and I was like, "Oh yeah, sure," and then bam, it was like instantaneous. I was like, "Oh man, this is awesome." And we started a business together, and we're partners for a long time. And that was kind of the explosion for me. Was like I just fell in love with the music. I'd grown up with my parents' record collection, which is Elton John, ELO, the Beatles, Rolling Stones. Let me just turn my notifications. So yeah, it was those were really just really great fun times. And then it it became a business. Not it was for the became a business for the love of being a business. It was, and that's really what it was. And then it just got getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then I became friends with Mark Gillespie, who was running and booking God's Kitchen in Birmingham. And then one day he rings me and says, "Oh, I found this guy on MySpace called Adam Wiles," which was Calvin Harris. And he was like, "Oh, I don't know, I'm still got a job here. Do you want to do it? Do you want to co-manage?" And I was like, "Sure." You know, this is, Calvin was a 5-piece band for the first 2 years. Not many people remember that. And, it was an interesting, fun time.
I don't remember that. I didn't know that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's so refreshing to hear that, because I think when you speak to someone who's so well known in the industry and has achieved so much, you think that there's always a plan, that you kind of thought, I want to be a DJ, I want to do this. And it's refreshing to hear that actually it kind of just evolved and grew naturally.
Yeah. And that was, and it always is now. I mean, I don't, yes, we have more of a plan now. Yes, we have a big business, and has morphed and gone in different directions over that period of time. But, it's still about, I think more so now than ever, it's about working with the right people, people that you enjoy working with. We've all, I've done 20, 25 years I've seen the crazies. I've dealt with the crazies, and I'm like, I don't care how much money that is. I'm not going to do that anymore, because I just, my life is too important now. The kids, the family. Now it's just got to be about working with people that I really, really love and enjoy spending time with.
Is that on the artist management side only, or is that literally throughout all your
I,
roles?
I think all of the roles. I think that in artist manager, absolutely. I said to everyone, I don't do management anymore. I manage my business partner, and I help our younger managers manage, and as a mentor, senior level role, and bringing in younger managers and younger acts. That's my role now. I'm not going to spend, 25 weeks, 25, 30 weekends a year on the road. I've done that. Um, but I'm held to help and mentor the young generation to come through now, and build the businesses around what we've been doing. And for me, it's about what we've tried to do, certainly in the last 4 or 5 years, is really build businesses that help, that complement what we're doing. Building the IP side of the business that adds value. I always say to everybody, management can be a thankless task, that can end in the blink of an eye, and you've got no recourse at that point. It's over, it's done. And at that point, it's very difficult, it's very stressful, and I'm like, I knew that coming out the back of 360 and starting, 720 is like, I wanted to do different things. I didn't want to keep doing that. I didn't want to keep trying to build a management company. I wanted to build businesses that surround or add services that complement management.
Tell me a bit more about 720 then. So you're saying you wanted to build these like different businesses around what you do. Tell me a bit
Hmm.
more about it.
Well, for me and Joel, it's he's always been the technologist. He's the computer guy. He's the gamer. He's incredibly intelligent and smart when it comes to that side of it. I am he That's his strength. My strength is dealing, with the people and seeing the opportunity and building and growing it and managing those opportunities. And that's why we complement each other as business partners. And I think what happened with COVID, it just it made everybody stop, because you would never have that moment, because everything's normally moving so fast, touring so busy, life so busy, that you see these opportunities. You don't really, you kind of bounce off them as they go along. And then COVID was like, oh shit, what are we going to do now?
Yeah,
And we just, it was perfect timing for us to look at what technology was out there, what Web3 was, what technology was being built on blockchain, where we saw the new value chains going to start to be built within, for people's IP and artists and fan artist relations. Because Web2 has just been us building multi-billion-dollar companies and not being able to talk to our fans unless we pay a huge amount of money to the platform we help build.
that's
And
crazy.
when you say it out loud, you go, how did we allow that to happen?
Yeah. How did you allow that to happen?
Well, because you get told in the start of it, you get told that this is the future. This streaming is going to do this, and the internet is going to do this, and you're going to build this massive worldwide fan base that's going to make you all billionaires, and you all go yes, and and you look at Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all these things that started with this really nice ethos, and then quickly grew into this corporate monster that then had all of your data, had all of your fans, and then just went, okay, well, if you want to get to all these people now, you have to pay us. And you go, yeah, but I helped build this with my
Yeah.
family and my IP and my artistry. And that's what has to change. The connection with the fan base. Yeah, we have to be able to break those walls down. And I think that's what really excites us about, the evolution of the internet, whether we call it Web2, Web3, whatever we want to call it, is the tools that are being built, you owning your own data, you being able to connect with your with your fans. Discord was a thing that we used for gaming. And now it's the thing that everybody goes, community, community, community. We have to have a community on Discord. Well, we kind of had one of those 6, 7 years ago on Discord when it first started, but it wasn't what it was then. It was just how gamers communicated with each other while they were playing a game. But you realize it's so successful because there are no walls. There are no paywalls. Anybody that's on the Discord can read what's going on in real time. They can comment in real time. There's sub sections. You're getting that information, and It's going to everybody that wants to read it can
Mhm.
read it. And you don't know that with Twitter. You don't know that with Instagram. You don't know that with Facebook. You don't know that with TikTok. You know that it's all being run by algorithms that you don't benefit you. They're not there to benefit you. They're there to benefit the platform, to sell more advertising, to make more money.
And is that why 720 is so different and differentiating themselves from all the other platforms?
We're not a platform. We're a entertainment company that thinks, I don't want to use the word holistically, but I think we think about it from the outside in, not from the inside out.
Right.
We trying to think about how can you connect with your fans better? How can you m- make more money from your revenue, from your IP, without having to do what you're currently told you have to do to have a business? The stats from Spotify and DSPs, it's 100,000 tracks a day being uploaded, and only was it 1% and enough to even earn a living
Wow.
from that's on there. When you start to break that all down, we are brainwashed that we have to be there because that's where the numbers are
Yeah.
and that's where the eyeballs are. That's what's going to make you a star. I'm like, good music is good music. It's hits will still be hits. And, you know, what they all are is advertising tools to hopefully to get fans to go to a live show where you can make money and you know what it is in real time.
Mm.
I can't sit here today and tell you what a single stream has made me on Spotify while we're sitting here talking. Just and you say that out loud in the digital age, knowing that you've got all of the computing power that you've got.
Yeah.
Something's wrong there if you can't see the data in real time. If you can't see the data in real time, what does that tell you that's going on?
Mm. That's so
Let's
interesting. I didn't know that.
let's make it as complicated and a fugazi as possible. And it's so complicated to try and work out, no one's going to ever ask, and we'll just, have a multi-billion-dollar company. How can Daniel Ek be worth more money than Paul McCartney?
Wow. That's so interesting. See, you wouldn't know that unless you're an artist uploading. You don't see that side of Spotify. Like as a user, for me, I can see how many streams like this artist has had and stuff, but that's about it. I thought the artist would have all the information they need.
Oh, no. I mean, and then, you go through a distribution company because they won't allow you to upload it directly yourself. So you have to pay a distribution fee. And then most distributors are 2 to 3 to 4 months behind paying you from the stream. So how can you even go back to that point to even say, on that day I earned that, and now the royalty statement's so complicated to understand. It's just no need for it to be that complicated unless all they care about is their own business.
Yeah. That must be really tough for independent artists as well, people that are just starting out or don't have the representation and stuff. That must be really difficult for them.
It's how do you do it anymore? Yes, you try and do it in your house, you try and do it in your bedroom, you're trying to keep the cost down to a bare minimum. All of those things that you can try and do to try and get a break, and you use all the tools that are out there, and you know, TikTok. But can you tell me how much money you make from TikTok if you have a successful 30-second clip on TikTok?
Mm.
I can't tell you. And
Yeah.
I'm in the business.
I mean, probably not the same numbers, but I remember a friend, one of her videos went viral. It was like 2 million views. It's not crazy viral, but I think she got like 30p or like 2 million views.
Hmm.
That wasn't music related, but still, I was like 30p for 2 million views. And you see these artists, they'll have their trending sound and they'll hit like 10 million. And I multiplied it and I was like, so what, you got £3?
It's frightening, right? You think about that in any other business. If you didn't know how much you were making for what you were making to sell it or to make a living from it, everyone would call you mad
Yeah.
because they go, "Well, you got to work every day and you don't know how much you're going to make." No,
Yeah.
you've sold 1 million of those today. Yeah, but I don't know how much that made today, because today it's going to be different to tomorrow, and it'll be different again tomorrow, because the dirty secret is they don't pay you per stream. it goes into a bucket, and depends on what bucket that is for that day and who's putting records out and what the market share is. And if the market share is this, then and it fluctuates between this and this. And you're like, What?" I mean, I was reading Music Business Worldwide today, and there was a thing on Larry Jackson was on stage with Snoop. And it's, if you get a chance, go and read it.
Okay.
It's a really insightful piece of Snoop saying what Snoop is allowed to say, and Larry trying to tiptoe between the things that he doesn't want to upset certain people, but he's agreeing, but he can't say it like Snoop can.
Yeah. Okay. What's it called? Is it just an interview?
Music Business Worldwide is the website.
Okay.
It's a really, really great business, for the music business. Daily sort of, blog site, website that pulls in all of the really important stories in one place.
Amazing. And Dean, you've obviously been in the industry for a very long time, so I know that our listeners would kill me if I didn't ask this. What is your top 3 pieces of advice for independent artists or upcoming artists or anyone in the industry new to it?
Be careful. Don't sign the first deal that's put in front of you. Take some advice. Find a good lawyer. Um, do your research on the people that are coming at you, or want to sign you, or want to do a deal with you. Do your research online, and try the best you can to control your own destiny by controlling your own rights. Short-term licenses, joint ventures where there's an easy in and out. Just try and be in control of your own destiny. If you do a deal early and you take the check, just know what you're signing, because once you take the check, you've sold yourself at that point, and just know that somebody else now owns and controls your art for a period of time of that contract. So I would just say to everybody, I learned the hard way many, many times, and I get why people have to do deals, because they have bills to pay and mortgages and family and everything else. But, just be careful. That's what I would say, is do your research, know what the terms are, or what good terms are and bad terms are, and try and stay as independent as long as you can.
Are there any major red flags people should look out for? Like something that you'd be like, don't ever agree to this or don't ever sign that, for example?
But perpetuity,
Okay. Why is
which
that?
that means life.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Signing
definitely.
a contract in perpetuity means whatever you're signing, that that person is giving you a check to control that, basically buying it from you. It means you'll never get it back. Some people are okay with that. Listen, there's a lot of people out there go, look, I know what I'm signing. Fine. This is one single or an EP or one album. I'm fine, because I'm going to go and make a lot more, and I'll do different deals. Then that's fine. But again, you have thought about it. You've done your research. You've read about it on the internet. You've looked at the people that you're signing to, and you know what you're signing. You don't want to get 2 years down the road and all of a sudden things are really ridiculously successful, and you go, wait, what did I sign? Oh my God.
Yeah. No, I get that. Thank you for sharing that, Dean. I appreciate that. And what about 720? Where are you guys planning on taking this company, or what upcoming
Uh,
you have?
like I said, I think it's really focusing on the building of the IP and the services around management. That's it. We've got some um, big news coming in probably the next month, about a partnership that we're going to do with some old friends, and you know, and then just keep moving forward on helping our acts and our partners build their IP, their music, their publishing, their brands. I think that's a key word that people don't talk about enough in the music business. Is, people say, "Oh, you manage Dead Mouse." I say, Joel Zimmerman's the person, Dead Mouse is the brand. So
Right.
I manage the brand. The human being is, we're partners, me, Dean, and Joel. But Dead Mouse is a brand. It's not. It's not a person. It's not a human being. It's not. It's a brand, like whether it's Disney or it's Apple or, you know, Dead Mouse is the brand. It does lots of things. It sells merchandise. It does shows. It wears a human being wears a mouse head. It has, you know, multiple companies. It does multiple brand deals. It's very important. I feel like people to understand that is you're managing a brand that has all of this amazing opportunity because people love the brand. You know, people are like, oh, I can relate. I like that brand. I love the music, or I like the merch, or I like the mouse set, or I like the music, or I like this business, or I like what they do over here. It's again, you know, not everybody likes Mickey Mouse at Disney. Some people like Goofy. Some people like, you know, the Snow White. You know, it's a brand and does lots of things underneath it. I think that's what I've always focused on is building out that business.
Love that, Dean. And my last question, what message do you want to leave people with that might be inspired by your story? Because I love that you blagged your way technically all the way here. So what is your message?
Passion. You know, if you're passionate about anything, doesn't have to be the music business, doesn't have to be music. If you're passionate about it, you're passionate about it. Don't forget that you're passionate about it. If you really love something, then go and do it. Go and you know, blag your way in to doing something. You know, get involved on the ground level. I didn't earn a penny in the music business for I don't know 2, 3 years. You know, I was doing side jobs and everything else but I was started. I got through the door. I was blagging my way into doing different things, and then all of a sudden, other opportunities come. And you know, I said to everybody that we have who works with us as the team, I couldn't tell you where any of them went to college. I couldn't tell you what degrees any of them have got. What I can tell you is what their passion is, and that's the same for me. I didn't go to university or college or school to do what I did. I've learned a lot along the way, and I learn every day. And you will. Nobody, if anyone says they know everything about the music business, run.
Another red flag. Thank you so much, Dean. That was perfect. Thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. And I hope your wife feels better very soon.
Thanks.
Thanks, Dean. I'll speak to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.